So President Obama urging patience in response to the outrage over both the Ferguson case and the New York City chokehold case, saying that while rooting out racism takes time, progress, he believes, has been seen.
This is something that is deeply rooted in our society. It's deeply rooted in our history. But the two things that are going to allow us to solve it, number one, is the understanding that we have made progress. And so it's important to recognize, as painful as these incidents are, we can't equate what's happening now to what was happening 50 years ago.
So Rush Limbaugh said that recent comments from leaders like Al Sharpton and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio are divisive and inaccurate, in his opinion.
I don't think that things are rosy and perfect in America, but to say that they're no better, as the mayor of New York said, it's absurd. We've made all kinds of efforts to improve race relations in this country. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, affirmative action, we have bent over backwards. Is it all perfect? No, it's not. But there's no acknowledgement of any of the progress.
Joined now by Deneen Borelli, president of the Conservative Review and Fox News contributor, and Jessica Ehrlich, a former Democratic congressional candidate. Good to have both of you with us. You listen to both the president there and Rush Limbaugh as well. Deneen, do you agree with Rush Limbaugh when he says we have bent over backwards to make strides in racism in this country?
We have made significant strides, Martha. And listen, I can't tell you how outraged I am with President Obama and these so-called black leaders who are whipping up emotions across the country when it comes to race. Look at the representation of black Americans in corporate America, entertainment, sports, politics. Obama is in a unique position. He could have united our country, but unfortunately, he has made matters worse. And there's also a Bloomberg poll that references that 53% of those who were polled also believe that Obama has made race relations worse in America.
Jessica, what do you think about that?
Well, I think from just what we even heard, I mean, I'll disagree with Deneen on the comments that the president made. I mean, he actually was urging patience, and with the whole, interview there, he was talking about how he met with these young activists and tried to sort of, tell them and explain to them a little bit of the history of how far we have come. And clearly, we wouldn't have, our first black president if we hadn't made strides in the last 50 years. But I think there definitely is a sort of a generational frustration that I feel like, we've been having these same discussions and arguments over and over for, my lifetime. Yeah. And hopefully, as we move forward, we won't continue to have them and things will get better.
I think that's find it so interesting. I want to play for you Eric Garner's widow and what she said about what she feels and believes about what happened to her husband and the origin of it. And here's what she said yesterday.
I feel that he was murdered unjustly. I don't even feel like it's a black and white thing, honestly. In my opinion, I really don't feel like it's a black and white thing. I feel like it's just something that he continued to do, and the police knew. They knew. It wasn't like it was a shock. They knew. Mm-hmm. They knew him by name. They harassed us. They said things to us.
Mm. And why aren't people, listening to what his wife and his daughter are saying? They both said that, Martha. Obama used the words that racism is deeply rooted in our country. He is playing, and this is in a BET interview, so he says one thing to the black audience and something different to the whole country. But really, I think this is a grand distraction. This is a way to deflect away from Obama's failed policies. His energy policy is harming our country. It's designed to drive up electricity prices, which will disproportionately harm black Americans where average incomes are lower, unemployment is in double digits, and his immigration policy, his executive action, will also harm black Americans when it comes to jobs who are disproportionately employed in low-wage jobs and low-skilled jobs.
You make an interesting point. Jessica, what do you think about that? Because there's an argument that the president, is taking advantage of this situation to sort of deflect attention, and also that the president his policies have actually not been good for African Americans and minorities.
Well, I think it's actually the opposite of what the president has been trying to do, and what Republicans, and especially in the House, have been stopping him from doing, is helping low-income families, speaking to Deneen's point, and those are, predominantly African American at this time.
Raising electricity prices? How was that good for anyone?
There is this. I mean, the president is not actively trying to raise electricity prices. The energy policy here is trying to move towards a new, more
EPA
clean energy future where it'll bring down all of those. And I mean, that's a different, EPA regulations do not directly bring up the cost.
Well, the argument is that a number of moves that the president has made have led to higher unemployment, a bad economy, which has disproportionately affected the very people that he's talking about trying to support and uplift. So we're going to have to leave it there. Janine and Jessica, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Good to have you with us, ladies.